Hello, YouTube. It is Thursday, June 16th, 7:14 p.m. Heading to Bullocks. I'm tired. I didn't sleep well again. But mission accomplished. I found my missing SIM card, so that's a big deal. I think I want to stop by Circle K on the way out. Get my sip and save drink. I think. Nah, I'll just get a Coke when I get to the bar. Anyway. Sorry, I'm like half. I'm like, oh, yikes. I'm just like half awake trying to gather my thoughts. I am running fairly early to Bullocks, but yeah, I don't feel like going into Circle K. I mean, I did renew my sip and save. I got a free drink coming, but yeah, I just as soon get to the bar and get a drink there. So other than finally finding my SIM card, gosh, what's up? That's the big thing. Although it took a lot of cleaning in my room to find it. Like it was in it was mailed in like a page size thick envelope, like not a padded envelope, but like a cardstock, like a thin cardstock envelope, and it had just slid. I don't know. I want to say like maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I don't know. My weeks just tend to blur together, but. There was just one day, I forget what day it was, one day that I got home from work and Priscilla wasn't there and stayed the night with God knows who, and she didn't. I don't even remember what time she came home. It was not a work day for her, so I mean she didn't. I'm sure I ended up going to sleep before she showed up. Anyway, I don't remember what day it is. There have been so many of those, but and there was another one this morning. She wasn't there when I got home from work again this morning. And if I had to do over again, I'd have just gone to the bar for first call drinks. But I thought she might be home and want to maybe have a little intimate time. Before I went to sleep, she went to work, but. My gut feeling is that she had that with somebody else, and I don't know. I shouldn't go into details, but it's like just so on my mind. I took pictures of like the arrangement of her nest and just kind of try to put the pieces together. She claims that she's got a membership at Planet Fitness, and she went to bed early, so she woke up early, and went to Planet Fitness to work out, and then got coffee. So she had coffee before going to work. Starting work. It's not like she goes to work. She works in my daughter's bedroom. Anyway, I don't know. Just on the list of things that made me go is when not only was the couch in such a way that it just doesn't seem possible that she could have slept on it. There's just so much stuff on there. Her iPhone was left there plugged in, and I don't know if she has service on the iPhone, so I don't know. I mean, she recently got a new iPhone. It was laying on the couch with the charger. There were fast food boxes, or like takeout boxes, sitting on the couch, which kind of gives me the feeling that she I don't know what to think about that, but I mean there were fast food, takeout, a cup of salsa or something like that sitting. It's sitting on the couch, and the most oh my God, what we got going on here type thing was that her vibrator was just like right next to the iPhone charging. It's like, wow, okay, I guess no desire for me, but while I wasn't there, I decided to have some playtime with her toy, and got so excited that she left and went somewhere else. Wonder where she is. That's I was home for over an hour. I got home about 6:30, and she didn't show up until after 7:30. So I didn't come in my room at all. Like I wouldn't have even known she was there if I hadn't walked into the kitchen to get something to drink. And she was sitting on the couch, fully clothed, just scrolling through social media on her iPhone. I kind of called her out, like, where you been? Like, did you have a hot date last night or whatever? And I mean, I'm getting straight denial, but I mean, those are times of the morning that, like, seriously, what else are you doing? Come on now. And then I asked about the vibrator, and she's like, says she didn't use it. Okay. I mean, it's her vibrator. She wants to use it, I guess, knock herself out. And then she said if she had a hot date, she'd have brought the vibrator with her, which is debatable. So that's what was up with that. She's like, oh, I just found it, and yeah, I wanted to play with it, but it was dead, so I put it on the charger. I don't know how long it takes to charge. It charges via USB. Like everything, it charges via a USB port and has a lithium-ion battery internally that probably can't be used or replaced. Gosh, I wonder if Louis Rossmann is working on vibrator batteries and the right to repair those. Anyway, yeah, it's so I asked her, just take care of yourself without it, and she said no. So I don't know. I don't even know what to think about that. But for what it's worth, when I came out into the living room, by that point in time, I was already ready to bed, ready for bed. So although I was cleaning in my room and trying to find my damn SIM card and trying to be kind of productive, just trying to sort through papers. I've been battling just so much depression in the last, God, it feels like it's been over 2 years now. I mean, I've been in different levels of funk since Lyme shut down in January of 2020, and the financial struggle I've been going through has just been insane for the last 2 years. Now, granted, it's eased up a lot in the last 4 months since I've been working for Amazon. That's helped a lot. And I oddly feel like my job at Amazon is really going places right now, which is just the most bizarre thing. I mean, I did something I really should have been fired for, and I seem to have, like, everybody treats me different now. I seem to have just gained the respect and admiration of, like, all the levels of management there, and whatever coworkers that I didn't already have that from. And it's amazing how much you get stopped in the building. Like, hey, is that true? Was that you? And I'm like, yeah. And it was kind of funny. Like, for the most part, I've been trying to avoid that manager, and the fact that I'm mostly staying on a forklift now in the wood pallet loading zone, where, like, management really can't enter. I mean, they can wave at me to come over and talk to him, but I mean, they can't just. Now, I've heard stories, and to be fair, he hasn't done it to me, but I have heard stories from other forklift operators that this particular guy thinks he's above the safety rules, which, like, nobody is above forklift safety rules. Forklifts are potentially really dangerous things, and I mean, they weigh enough and it takes is a mistake, and I mean, somebody could literally get crushed by one of those things without much effort. So, Amazon has some very extreme safety rules, and mostly they involve just stay away from the heavy equipment, especially if you're not trained to operate it. And I mean, like, generally speaking, most associates aren't even, there's physical barriers that go up whenever an area is designated as a working area for a forklift. And anyway, I've just heard from other forklift operators that he's just doesn't think anything of opening the barriers and just walking right on in while somebody's on a forklift working, which, I mean, generally speaking, you just don't do that. I mean, the only person that should be changing the status of a barrier is opening the barrier is the forklift operator that closed it. I mean, unless you're like a forklift operator and you're asking another forklift operator in your area, hey, can you? I'm on my pit and I'm headed to the charging docks. Do you mind? While you're dismounted and you're on foot, do you mind getting that key for me? Anyway, God, how'd I get from my girlfriend's vibrator to forklifts? Hey, well, they both have batteries and they're rechargeable, so they have something in common. They both kind of excite me, so there's that. Anyway, the last 2 days at Amazon, try not to focus on where my girlfriend was or what's going on with her vibrator. And I don't know if she's, if her sex life at this point is getting on with other people or just getting on with herself when I'm not around, but she's made it pretty clear she's not interested in me. I mean, at one point I asked if I could sit, if there was room for me to sit behind her, and I kind of straddled her. That didn't come out sounding like it was supposed to be. She's sitting on the couch fully clothed and looking at her smartphone, and I just kind of sat behind her. I'm fully naked, one leg on each side. Usually that kind of leads to something, but nah. I may as well have not even been there. She's all focused on whatever she's looking at on her cell phone. After a while, I'm just like, yeah, I kind of feel like I'm in the way here, and I just went back to my bedroom and back to my cleaning and stuff. So, one kind of exciting thing I found today. I mean, the most exciting thing is my SIM card, which I have not put in yet. Which, I'm just prolonging the time till I can use my iPhone. And you think I'd be more eager to do it, but I'm not. These SIM cards, by the time I break it out to the size for the iPhone 6, it's like a micro SD card, and it has to go in a little tray thing, and I'm not really good at doing it. My vision is so bad, it's something I struggle to see while I'm doing, and I'm worried. It's something I don't want to do in my bedroom for fear that I could lose it and never find it again. I want to do it in an area that's a little more brightly lit and more table. So I'm probably going to do it on the DJ booth counter area at Bullock's. Which means I won't be able to activate it, I would imagine. I'm not sure what the hours are for Mint Mobile customer service, but they're not 24 hours. And yeah, it's probably too late to call them to have them activate it. And I can't activate it with the app. Like, whenever you send a replacement card, you have to call them and have their customer service activated. It's a pain in the ass. That's fine. I get the card installed this evening and hopefully get it activated tomorrow afternoon or morning. Anyway, one exciting thing I did find while I was cleaning through just what I've let happen to the area between my shelves and my bed and my room is, it's really embarrassing, but I mean, there comes a point where depression is so real that you just, it's hard to get the motivation to work on that. It really is for me. And I just look at it, I'm overwhelmed by it. Like the last day I pretty actively worked on it was, like I said, it was maybe about 2-3 weeks ago. might have even been 4 weeks ago, one night when Priscilla wasn't there, and mostly it really frustrates me. That particular day, I guess I was just so frustrated with her. I'm like, well, whatever, I'm sick of that bitch anyway, so yay, I got the apartment to myself. And I had already, I think, had a first call round at the bar, so I just proceeded to like, oh, what alcoholic beverages do we have in the fridge? And there was like a Bartles and James wine cooler in a can, and there was Mike's Hard Lemonade. I'm not sure what I had one last PBR coffee mixed drink, which sounds awful, but those things are surprisingly good. The ones I bought out of the clearance rack at a Circle K, so I'm sure I'm not getting those, anywhere that cheap or that easily. Again, it's probably something I'm going to have to, if I do decide I actually want it, I'm going to have to pay like a little extra for it, and probably get it from somewhere like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of the ginormous liquor superstore in Tempe. I forget the name of it. There's this over at Tempe Marketplace. There's an enormous liquor store. It's like the Home Depot of liquor, and they probably have it, but I don't see it. Anyway, I do like. I tried the PBR coffee just because I thought it was so bizarre. It's just too bizarre of a product not to buy it. I bought one, I think. Actually, no, if memory serves, I didn't buy one. I just took a picture of it and posted it on Snapchat. And one of my Snapchat friends responded to it like, "Those are amazingly good. Did you get them?" And I'm like, "No, I just thought that was amazingly weird." She's like, "You should go back and get them." And I totally did. Anyway, I drank the last one a few weeks ago, and but I was feeling like the motivation and independence to actually work on doing some cleaning. In spite of being motivated by trying to find something as important as a missing SIM card. And yeah, it's anyway, I'm thinking that probably had a lot to do with like how it fell to where it was, because they had created like a big gap, because I was trying to get a workable path so I could use my turntable again, and then next step, clear off the turntable. I haven't even started on clearing off the turntable yet, but I did get a working path today. I didn't finish it the other day, and I think that's just what happened, is the SIM card fell into that space, and then other stuff fell on top of it. Anyway, while I was digging in there, the last, like, towards the bottom thing that I found that I needed to move to make space so I could walk in front of the space in front of my turntable, which I still need to do more cleaning there, but I mean, massive progress today. Since, Priscilla wanted absolutely nothing to do with touching me. It's like she knows what time I get home from work, or, what time I can get home from work. So, like, really, that's the time you're going to go to the gym? So obviously you don't want to. Yeah, all right. Message your sleeve loud and clear. All righty then. Enjoy your vibrator. By the way, the electric bill just came in. It's about $150. I need your half. Yeah, so anyway, I found my Tascam rack mount professional mini disc recorder. So I'm kind of excited about that. I did clear off a space in my rack. I'm trying to count how many shelves my main audio rack has in my bedroom. It's pretty sizable. It's made out of I want to say 3. Gosh, it's been so long since I've worked on the project, I can't think off the top of my head. I'm like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's made out of 4 IKEA lac tables that are bracketed to each other, which sounds cheesy, but I've posted this build several times on Reddit, and the width, lac is the lac table is kind of a lost leader at IKEA. I think they sell them for less than it costs to make them, just to kind of get people hooked on IKEA, because once you're there, you're going to want to buy other stuff that matches it, which is not as heavily discounted. But yeah, basic lac table is like, well, I mean, I haven't been back to IKEA since hyperinflation. So before Biden inflation, whenever I was last buying, which we're talking about 2-3 years ago, the regular lac table, and I'm meaning with like a white, a matte black, or I think red was a finish option. was like $7, like $6.99, $7. And then to get one with the brown black finish, which has kind of got like a mild wood grain going on, which is what all the rest of my IKEA stuff in my bedroom is. So of course I spent a little bit of extra money to match it. It's $2. It was $2 more for the table, so $9.99. Again, like $2 is less. It's less than the price of one of those PBR drinks, so like not a big deal. But anyway, 4 of them racked together. On the bottom level, at this point, that's become a place where just a bunch of junk is gathered up, and that's an area I need to clean out. Second level, I forget exactly what components it has on it. It's all Sony stuff. Actually, honestly, at this point, I think the only components on it are my 200 CD Sony carousel changer, and then matching, and by matching I mean same era. It's not like they were sold as a set, but like late 90s Sony, mid 90s Sony black plastic face components have a very uniform look, all of them. And above it, I've got the same era VCR. It's just a hi-fi stereo VCR. It's not an S-Video VCR or anything like really high-end, but it's a really good quality unit, and it works. Granted, I'll be honest, its main function for the longest time has been clock, and lately it hasn't even been clock because it's been obscured by piles of junk. But pretty sure that's hooked into the system. I don't have a TV in that room right now, but I mean I could always play audio tapes on it. For a while I had it running through I forget what the hell you call it, a digital audio processor. And it's kind of hard to explain, like a PCM digital audio processor. It's kind of hard to explain what those are. So if you don't know, like I'll try to remember to put a link in the description to Techmoan's video, which explained very well what they are. Even though he's not using an adapter, he's actually using an all-in-one like VHS PCM audio recorder deck made by Techniques. Basically, the adapter I have, it's a Sansui. And you connect the video inputs and outputs of any VCR or any kind of video recording device, actually. And it uses basically pulsing black and white patterns on the video to record digital audio. It's kind of similar to how a modem works, but different. Because that's obviously an analog video thing, but it's an analog representation of digital, and then the processor takes that video signal and it decodes it to the digital audio. It sounds like a really convoluted way to do digital audio, but this predates DAT, and it's my understanding that's basically how DAT works. I don't know the ins and outs of how DAT works, but it's kind of my understanding that's how DAT works. As opposed to just saving actual digital, but I could be wrong on that. Fact check me. Anyway, that Sansui, I took it out of my rack. I took it to Jeff's repair shop on 19th Avenue, north of Indian School. Jeff has done some amazing work for me. That was a component he wasn't able to fix. He just said that it had a bad chip in it, and there was just no way he could source a replacement. I did have a guy, and maybe I should post a link to his channel as well. Just calls himself VCR. That I was chatting with for a bit on YouTube. He's Russian. He's in Russia, so now's not the best time. Political world events. It's not the best time to try and get stuff back and forth between the United States and Russia, unfortunately. But he's a Russian guy that's probably dove deeper into the hobby of restoring PCM digital audio adapters than anybody. In fact, he's got some fabulous videos about them. Now, they're all in Russian. Most of them do have English subtitles, but even the ones that don't, like if you're into the technology, you can still kind of look at him and follow him and see what he's doing. So, I don't speak Russian, but I've watched almost every video on the guy's channel, and they're amazing. And he's restored. There were several different companies that made them, and he's restored several of them. Anyway, he's offered to help me with mine. So once this little dispute that's being heavily politicized between Oh, this is the blue and yellow flags everybody wants to fly that doesn't know anything about that side of the world. At least I admit I don't know anything about that side of the world. Anyway, once that little skirmish is done, hopefully, Putin and the elderly man in the White House don't escalate it into blowing the world up, and things can get back to some kind of normal, and him and I can work together and get this thing fixed. But in the meantime, yeah, I've taken that out of the rack. It does kind of work, but it has some issues. I can't really get into the issues on it. It's been a while. I don't remember exactly what they were, but basically it won't maintain a steady audio level. So it's not really like it's kind of usable, but it's not really usable, which is a bummer. The funny thing is it just seems to be an issue with playback. It seems to be completely capable of recording tapes. You know, I could make a VHS digital PCM audio tape for somebody, you know, but yeah, I can't really enjoy myself because I cut in and out when on playback, which sucks for me. Anyway, I took that out, and then the space above it, this is, so I was explaining, I got my CD changer VCR. It's on the second shelf. The next shelf above it, that's got my good Sony turntable, and I've put in some nice LED lighting above it. I found the switch to turn on the LED lighting. That was kind of buried in the stuff because I never got around to like mounting it anywhere. So it's just kind of this dangly wire that could get messed up. But anyway, found that. That's kind of cool. Found that in searching for my SIM card. Because it does wonders for lighting of the room. Like all the other lights in my room are off, and just the turntable lighting is on. It makes the room look pretty cool, even with the mess on the turntable. Above that, like I've changed the component several times, but I haven't messed with it. I mean, I haven't really messed with much anything in the last year. I mean, I just went through this massive wave of depression where I didn't get out of bed, other than occasionally to look for karaoke work, and then now I just work at Amazon so often but the only break I get from it is coming to this bar to do a karaoke show, which I got to get in and do. But yeah, anyway, what's there right now is my I've got a really badass like DVD, SACD, CD player, single disc player. That thing's got some issues too. It's kind of finicky about what CDs it will and it won't play. And that has a lot to do with, from what I've read about it, it could be it just needs a lens clean. But from what I've read, this particular unit, from time to time, the lens gets out of alignment. And it has a self-diagnostic and realignment tool built into it in its menu. But to use this menu, I need to connect it to a TV. And I also need a remote that will get me into the menuing system of it. Now, I do think I have a Sony Universal. I don't have the correct remote for that VCR. Sony's pretty good about VCR, like remotes from one VCR working on another VCR. So I do have the remote for the VCR that's in my rack. Oh, my bad. No, DVD player. Duh. Anyway, I have some other, Sony DVD remotes. I do have a Sony, like a high-end Sony programmable universal. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get at it, but that's just, of all the things I need to be working on now, that is so far down the list. It's just good sitting where it is. It looks cool. If I really want to play a CD on, I can try, and it might play through without skipping, or it might skip. Obviously I don't have a video hooked up in the room right now, not even messing with DVD. And to be honest, it's at this point, it's just dated as a DVD player. It's kind of worthless as a DVD player. And for me, to be honest, it's kind of dated as an SACD player as well, because it doesn't support multi-channel, even though it's a multi-channel player for DVD and for DVD audio. Well, not DVD audio, but a lot of DVD audio discs use DVD audio, and it can be played as just a video DVD as opposed to DVD-A, and you can get the audio off it. I have several of those kind of discs. It's great for that. And it'll do multi-channel off those discs. 5.1, it's got 5.1 analog output, although I don't think I have it hooked up, because I've got other players that are better for that. But it doesn't support multi-channel doesn't support, it's such an early SACD player that it doesn't support multi-channel SACDs, and it doesn't support dual layer SACDs. So yeah, kind of it's just dated as a DVD player. It kind of sucks as a SACD player, which is, so why do I want to keep it in my rack? If I can get the skipping issue done when it does want to play a disc. It doesn't even seem to be about condition. It's just kind of finicky, but the sound is amazing. It's the only CD player where I've ever done an A to B comparison between running its digital output to my receiver and using the DAC built into my receiver, or using its internal DAC and just running analog RCA cables from my receiver, where I was taken aback that there was a surprisingly better, smoother sound coming out of its internal DACs. So, yeah, Sony spared no. It is a, what do you call it? I forget. Sony SA series? ES series. I'm failing as a Sony fanboy today. It is a Sony ES series. So yeah, the audio within this component, even though it's kind of dated for DVD and for SACD as a standard CD player, the thing is phenomenal. And I've read it's considered by many to be one of the best sounding CD players ever made, even though it's a DVD player. So it's there for that. On top of that, I have my DAT recorder, which Jeff actually did repair. He swears it's good. I haven't plugged it in. I haven't tested it. I got it in the shelf and I was going to work on it, or did. I'm well past Jeff's warranty time, so I'm kind of SOL if it doesn't work. But yeah, I just haven't had time to mess with what do you call it? Mess with DAT. And the main reason for that is I just don't have really a collection of DAT tapes. That just means digital audio tapes. That sounds redundant, but anyway, I don't have a collection of those. If I had a collection of those, it would have been plugged in by now. And then sitting on top of it, I got another not plugged in component. It's just a input switch. It's a really cool one, but it needs a power supply, and I've just never really. It's like, that would be really cool right there. Looks good right there. I should integrate it right there, and then that's all the farther I got with it. Anyway, there was a space on top of that where I just had some tapes and some CDs, and was just kind of using it as stuff I'm actively listening to. I'd stash it there. I managed to clean that shelf off and get into the components and wipe all the dust and stuff down, and that's where I am going to put the DAT recorder. The mini disc recorder, the chest cam. It's not there yet. Oh, and I did mention this rack mount. Something about the IKEA tables. The legs are precisely the right width apart that if you put rack mount components in it, they can either sit there with the rack wings just tightly pressed against the legs and it looks perfect, or if you really want to get bold and rack mount it, you can drill holes in the legs and actually put bolts in. I would strongly suggest putting washers on the backside, because it is particle board. But I've successfully rack mounted stuff on IKEA lock tables, and yeah, best bargain audio rack you'll ever buy, especially when you consider how expensive audio racks tend to be. So it's that's where it's going. Didn't get there today. I actually plugged it in, sat it on top of the Onkyo cassette deck that I found behind Wander Inn, which I've been listening to steadily since, just sitting on the foot of my bed. Now it's sitting on top of that. I moved the cable to it and listened to a mini disc on it. A mini disc that somebody else recorded that has just so many mediocre songs on it. It's got like a couple of good songs and a bunch of why does somebody want to record this song? It's awful. But of course I can't delete it because I'm a DJ and some of these are the only copies of these songs I have. So one of these days I'll get all those stupid disc catalog. But I expect I'm going to make a lot of progress with the cataloging now that I've got that Tascam deck. Because one unique feature it has to it is it has a PS2 keyboard input. One of the things that's really a cool feature about mini disc is that you can tag it with the artisan title. So when it plays, it'll show the artisan title, and you can scroll through and see what's on your disc with your players. Neat feature. But it's a feature a lot of MD users don't really use, because to use it in practice, the labeling is so insanely tedious. And if you have, most Sony players use this little wheel. It's like an analog digital wheel. I don't really know how to explain it, but you spin it and it goes kind of click, 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 but it's like kind of a soft click. Anyway, you have to spin it so much to do titling, to scroll through all the letters of the alphabet and to do titling, that it's generally advised that if that's the only way you have to do titling, don't. Because once that wheel is worn out, and that will prematurely wear it out, your Sony MD deck is not, your home deck is not going to be very functional without it. And yeah, so best to do that with a remote or a keyboard. Anyway, this player is pretty awesome. It does have a plug on the front panel for a PS2 keyboard, so I can actually plug in one of my IBM Model M clicky clackities. And granted, I'm looking a little scrolling display on there as opposed to a TV, but I don't have a TV in that room anyway. But yeah, I'm looking forward to learning how to title with it and titling a bunch of my stuff and then cataloging it while I'm at it. Not sure what I'll catalog it on. I haven't really figured that out. I might go old school and just do it on notebook paper. But anyway, yeah, that's found that today. That's pretty exciting. And pretty stoked that when I plugged it in, it still works, because it had been sitting out in my storage at U-Store for a long time, and just sometimes the heat just kills components. The heat plus just age will kill components. So I'm pretty stoked that old Tascam is working great, because it's probably from the early 1990s. But anyway, I need to get in. I need to get my show set up. I'm sitting here talking to myself, but yeah, I felt like I had a really productive day, in spite of the fact that girlfriend couldn't be more just not girlfriendish. That's the best way I can think to explain it. She did actually come into my bed a little bit after work, but I mean, not really. Came in fully clothed and wasn't making any attempts to any gestures towards intimacy, and didn't really have much to say to her, so whatever. I mean, I'm still kind of upset about coming home and it being over an hour till she came home, and and then just really, like, you decided to go to the gym at the only time that we're both at home at the same time? Okay. Like, I'm a little more sympathetic on the days where I get in there and I try to make out with her on the couch. It's just like, I'm tired, don't touch me. I mean, if I'm tired, do touch me. But, yeah, it's like, I get it, she's tired and wants some sleep. I certainly know how groggy I am when I haven't enough sleep, and I just want to get as much sleep as I can before work. I can relate to that, but that's the time you're going to go out to the gym. Like, you're up. You've got this little bit of overlap time between when I get off work and when you go to work. Right? It seems like you might want to work me into that, but I guess not. Anyway, it is exciting. She's finally decided to go to the gym, because, I mean, God knows she doesn't have it's not nearly the level of fit she was when we first started dating. It's looking at her now, sometimes it's hard to believe how hot she was when I met her, but maybe she's really working on that. That's a good thing. She's definitely been losing weight, so that's a plus. But anyway, I don't know why I'm still recording this. I need to wrap this up. I'm just like cooking in my car. It is hot as hell. I'm all sweaty now, but whatever. I'm sweaty doing my show anyway. So, setting up the extra speaker tonight. Sound should be good. Hopefully Malika shows up soon. She's been messaging me most of the day. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a good show. Of course, I'm also looking forward to a noisy basketball game, which I'm not so fond of. But such is the life of doing karaoke at a sports bar.